Well, I have a confession to make. I like to read books, but I seem to start a lot more books than I finish. I don't know if anyone else has this problem, but it seems as though about the time that I get 2/3 of the way through a book, I see another book that looks a lot more interesting and I move on to that one. I might start off with all of the best intentions, but it doesn't always pan out in the end. Now, I might not finish what I start, but that's not the case with God. God always finishes what he starts. Now, we've learned that sin messes things up pretty bad, but through the work of Jesus, God is rescuing us from the power of sin. Today, we're going to learn that God isn't finished with us yet. In fact, God is making everything new, and that includes you. Revelation 21, 3-5 says, I heard a loud shout from the throne saying, Look, God's home is now among his people. He will live with them, and they will be his people. God himself will be with them. He will wipe every tear from their eyes, and there will be no more death or sorrow or crying or pain. All these things are gone forever. And the one sitting on the throne said, Look, I am making everything new. Those last few words are spoken by Jesus, and they give us a glimpse into the future. Now, we'd all agree that today the world has an awful lot of crying and sorrow and pain in it. But as Christians, we look forward to that moment when Christ will return and set up his kingdom here on earth. When that day comes, God will finish what he started. He's going to make all things new. But of course, the question then becomes, well, what about today? I mean, if all that stuff is going to happen in the future, then why bother trying to fix things or to heal this earth or to do anything of that sort? Shouldn't we just kind of try to hold on and make it to the end? Well, there's some people who seem to think this way. As a result, there's this assumption that this world doesn't really matter. But what if God is making things new right here and right now? What if he's already started doing it? And what if this world does matter because it's the center of God's redeeming work? And what if we're called to join him? Hundreds of years before Jesus, the prophet Joel wrote about a day when God's Spirit would be poured out on his people. This would be the day that God's renewing work would begin. And then in Acts 2, we read about the Holy Spirit being poured out onto the church. The Apostle Peter stands up and quotes the prophet Joel. And he says, hey, that day that Joel was looking towards when he wrote that prophecy, that day has begun. You see, God does not leave us to fend for ourselves. God is working to finish what he started. He's making everything new, and that includes us. In fact, God is so committed to finishing what he started that he even dwells within us. That's the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is God in us, restoring and renewing and empowering us to join him in this mission. So today, we can look at sin and sorrow and pain and suffering in the face. We can say, you lose. Because Jesus is alive, the Holy Spirit dwells within us, and God's renewing mission guides us. God finishes what he started. He's making everything new, and that includes you.